Hello, hello. Welcome to Kinks and Beats Daily. I'm your host, Tony, as always, and I'm glad you're joining us today. Happy Thursday. Today, we are back to the Beatles, and we are discussing a B-side, but it was a B-side that was included on an album, so it's one that people know. It's not an obscure one. And it's an interesting tune by Paul called Things We Said Today. And it's interesting in its chord structure, and I guess that's about it. I mean, I've said this how many times now? It's a song without a chorus. There is a repeating line with "Then I will remember things we said today," but there's really not a chorus. There's two different kinds of verses, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But it was released July 10th, 1964, shortly after it was recorded, actually. It was the B-side to the single For a Hard Day's Night, and it also appeared on the UK version of the album, both released on the same day. It was released on the United States album called Something New. And to give you an idea of the difference between the UK albums and the American albums. The UK Hard Day's Night, the A-side was songs from the movie. The B-side was just extra songs. So it was like half soundtrack, half new album. In America, they would take the A-side to Hard Day's Night and put the instrumental score, as the B-side. So Something New has a lot of tracks from Hard Day's Night on it. It's missing I Should Have Known Better, Can't Buy Me Love, You Can't Do That, and I'll Be Back. And then it replaces them with Slow Down and Matchbox, which were B-side covers. And they close side one with two cover songs. And then they close the album with Komm, gib mir deine Hand, the German version of I Want to Hold Your Hand. And it's 11 songs instead of, I believe, 14, maybe 13 on the British album. So it's fewer songs. They throw in some weaker songs. They take out some great songs. But it allowed them to get 2 albums worth of material, where the UK only got 1 and a couple singles. The song was recorded in 3 takes. And really it was recorded in 2 because the first take was a false start and didn't really count. And then the third take was just used for overdubs, like the tambourine, there's a piano part, some extra guitars, the second vocal line, things like that. So essentially, this is a live in studio recording of the Beatles, basically in 1 take, with a couple little overdubs here and there, which is incredible because it sounds great. And they didn't have the schedule to really devote a lot of rehearsal time to these things. So that, makes it even cooler that it was done quick. 1 shot and you're done. Get in, get out, hit single. So to talk about the structure of the song, we're in A minor. Let me grab my guitar. It's a natural minor, which you don't hear in pop music, but I mean, it's not anything crazy, which means that the 5 chord is minor. Usually, you'll hear a major 5 chord because they'll do. But in natural minor, the 5 is minor also. So you got a minor 1, minor 5. And he just alternates between that. You say you will love me if I have to go. So he just repeats on 1 to 5, 1 to 5. Then he gets to this little bridge portion where he switches to C major, which shares the same key signature as A minor, so that's not a stretch. And then he drops that seventh. So he does, which now makes it the 5 chord in, it's a 5 of 4. So it leads us to the 4 chord. And then the 4 chord of the 4 chord. And then what's cool is from there, he doesn't try to cycle back to the original key. He just goes. So you've got, and B flat is not in the key of A. The closest chord would be a B minor, which would be here. But B flat major is not in the key of A minor. So it's a cool little turnaround to get you right back into that A minor that doesn't really work from a theoretical standpoint, but it sounds good, and that's all that matters. So then that whole form repeats. And then we get to the second verse ends on an A major. We will remember things we said today. And he ends it on an A major chord. Picardy third for the real nerds there. And from there, it's just an A major rocker. Maybe I'm just a lucky kind. Love to hear you say that love is love. So it's a cool little rocker, basic, A, D, B7, E7, not a big deal. And though we may be blind, love is here to stay. This is the best chord in the song. Does a B flat 7 off of the B7. Love is here to stay, and that's enough. So he's doing kind of a chromatic movement. B flat to A minor. It's a cool transition, and that is a great hook. And then he's back into the A minor verse. I suppose you could say the "Me, I'm Just the Lucky Kind" is a chorus, but that is not a chorus. It doesn't use the title of the song. It doesn't have a crazy, catchy hook. It doesn't even finish. The words don't even finish. They bleed right into the next. So he does the "Love is here to stay," and that's enough. He finishes the word as the downbeat of the next verse. So for all intents and purposes, I would call that a bridge. So he's got an extended verse that's got 2 sections in it when you got the A minor and the C section, and a bridge that repeats, so it kind of functions like a chorus, but it does not function as a chorus in its truest sense. So again, I feel like a broken record here. We have a song absent of a typical rock and roll form. And really, it feels like 2 songs in one. You've got the A minor, very somber chord progression, and then when it switches to A minor for the "I'm Just the Lucky Kind," it's like a straight ahead rocker. For some reason, this song always reminded me of the Doors, even though it precedes the Doors by a couple of years. Yeah, I don't know what it is about it, but it does. So that's Things We Said Today. It's a cool little tune. It's one of those songs I would never list it as a favorite Beatles song, but I never turn it off when it comes on. And I like the changes. I like the melody. I like the harmonies that you hear on it. It's just a cool little rock and roll tune. And incidentally, it was the track 3 on the B-side of Hard Day's Night. It was written for the movie but wasn't used, but it ended up on track 3 as the B-side. It was track 2 of side A on Something New, the American release, which is kind of interesting. All right. If you want to talk about this song, or you want to talk about a past song, or you want to talk about a song I haven't covered yet, give me a call, 925-494-1739. And you can always email me, kinksandbeats@herohabit.com. or follow Hero Habit on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitters. All right, I will be back tomorrow, Friday, with a great early 80s Kinks gem. I'm not going to say any more than that. Great tune. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. This podcast is presented by the Hero Habit Podcast Network. Swing by HeroHabit.com today to comment on this episode and poke around our growing database of sports and pop culture news, reviews, and collectibles. HeroHabit.com. Collect your heroes.